Welcome in to a Wednesday edition, a midweek edition, a hump day edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. I wonder if you got the house decorated for Christmas yet? I mean, it's a little over 2 weeks away. And maybe you have in your home something where, particularly if you have little kids, where you count down the days to Christmas. Like we have a adorable little snowman, and we move this thing days until Christmas. We move it from 15 days to 14, 13, 12. Do you have something like that? Maybe you have a little calendar where you open up a door and there's a piece of chocolate behind it for your little one or little ones. I suppose there would have been money to be made, probably late in the game now, to have come up with some kind of similar product to count down the days of Joe Biden's presidency that remain. We are at, I didn't do the math, I've read 42 days, 41 days. All I know is we're in the 40-day-ish period, which is kind of biblical because I feel like as a country, we are in the desert. 40 days, 40 years in the desert. We're in the desert, and I'm afraid we're going to be confronted with a temptation by some foreign enemy while Joe Biden just kind of strolls, stumbles, bumbles, and mumbles his way out of office. Have you seen Joe lately? He says, sure, I saw him yesterday. He was at the Brookings Institute. He was talking about what a great economy we have. Yes, he was. He just got back from Angola. I saw him in Angola. Yeah, but have you heard him say anything like remotely cogent yesterday? You say, sure, I did. Bruce, didn't you hear Joe Biden yesterday talking about his great economy at the Brookings Institute?
Next month, my administration will end and a new administration will begin. Most economists agree the new administration is going to inherit a fairly strong economy.
Really?
At least at the moment.
Huh.
An economy going through fundamental transformation. It's laid out a stronger foundation and sustainable, broad-based, highly productive growth. And it's my profound hope that the new administration will preserve and build on this progress.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's what Joe Biden says. So explain to me then, why are the inflation numbers today 2.7% in November when they were 2.6% in October? Inflation is going back up. He's spending every dollar he can spend on the way out of the White House. I get it. He wants to portray his time in office as something other than the epic disaster that it was. But we all know this guy has been on autopilot. I don't know. I mean, the autopilot function not really working that well over the last 2 years, but he's clearly limited. We saw it in the June 27th presidential debates, why he didn't run for re-election. And had he run for re-election, he would have gotten beaten soundly. I was going to say he'd win 48 states, he'd win New York, and he'd win California. Boy, the way the vote shifted toward Trump, I'm not too sure if Joe had been out there on the campaign trail. But here's the problem. When I say we're going to be in the desert for 40 more days with Joe Biden, he sounded really good in that first clip, didn't he? He's reading the teleprompter. He's sharp, got sharp as a tack. We were told he was sharp as a tack. We were told he gets more done in an hour than the rest of us get done all day. We were told that Karine Jean-Pierre couldn't keep up with him. Of course she couldn't. She's lugging around that 80-pound binder that has all the things written down that she's supposed to say because she's too incompetent to come up with anything off the top of her head. But then yesterday at the Brookings Institute, Joe's teleprompter broke. Or as he said, the electricity went out.
And you know, one of the things that's going on here, they just turned off my I lost electricity.
Oh, electricity.
Anyway. One of the things we found is that, you know, we invented the computer chip, size of the tip of your little finger.
Joe Biden taking us down a technological memory lane there. We invented the computer chip. I don't know if we invented the computer chip or not. I just know the computer chip in his brain is broken, malfunctioning, error message. Joe Biden exists in a permanent state of the perpetual circle on your computer, buffering, or the hourglass not connecting in Joe Biden's brain. By the way, it'd be nice if we had a vice president to step in and say, where's she been? Where has she been? Not that I clamor for, a word salad from Kamala. I'm not that hungry. No one is. But boy, oh boy, oh boy. Has she ever gone into the witness protection program since she got embarrassed in the election on November the 5th? We got the one drunken or not video from her. Don't anybody take away your dreams. And she's been at one other event every day. Her schedule says she's in meetings with who? With who? Jim Beam? I don't know who she's in meetings with. But here's more of Joe Biden yesterday, because Kamala's, as I say, in exile. But here was Joe Biden yesterday. It wouldn't be a Joe Biden speech without a random, out of the blue, inexplicable instance of shouting, right?
I can't name a single country in the world that doesn't think, put it this way, if we're not leading the world, who does?
Watch out.
Not a joke.
Not a joke.
I'm not being wise guy.
No, you're not. You're going to scream.
If we do not lead the world, what nation leads the world? Who pulls Europe together? Who tries to pull the Middle East together? How do we do the Indian Ocean? What do we do in Africa? We, the United States, lead the world.
He had more chops than I thought. He broke out there in song. If we don't lead the world, who will? Well, somebody better than you, my friend, because Syria is breaking apart. We apparently had no clue that was coming. We don't know what to make of it. The reason why we don't know what to make of it is because the new head of Syria is a guy that we had on the terrorist list and would have paid someone $10 million to just tell us where he was, not bring him in. You didn't have to be Dog the terrorist bounty hunter to get your 10 million. No, all you had to do was provide us information for the guy who is now in charge of Syria, where you should be praying for the safety of Christians. Oh, I know. He's a different kind of Muslim terrorist, Bruce. He's kinder, gentler. He says he's going to be respectful of everyone because, of course, if there's anything that has defined the Islamic faith throughout the world, it's not the death of infidels that they think buys them untold access to who knows how many virgins in the afterlife. That's in the Quran. No, it's tolerance. He's learned the error of his ways since he wound up on a list of people that we would pay $10 million just to simply find out where he is. Oh, wait, there's more, right? We've given billions, if not $1 trillion, to Iran, which has funded Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, who continue to wreak havoc in the Middle East. We have delayed weapons to Israel. We have delayed weapons to Ukraine. We have war in Europe. We have a very tenuous situation in the Middle East. And Joe Biden's extolling holding NATO together. And he's extolling an economy where prices have risen 21%. About the only thing he's done recently. And by the way, we tend to forget this because we all have become frogs in the boiling pot of water, boiled gradually, not so we jump out in indignation, but so we stay in comfortably, cluelessly denied answers we are well within our right to demand. Is he ever going to come out and explain lying about not pardoning his son Hunter Biden and then pardoning his son Hunter Biden? Is he ever going to explain that? Is it my imagination that presidents who leave office hold an outgoing press conference sometime around Christmas? There are a lot of questions that Joe Biden could and should answer. Chiefly, why did you say you weren't going to pardon Hunter? Why are you pardoning Hunter? And why does your pardon include absolving him of crimes that he has not been charged with yet? What kind of crimes? Are you going to pardon your brother? Are you going to pardon yourself? It would seem to me that Americans are somewhat interested in that, because there is an AP poll out where it says 22% of Americans approve of Joe Biden pardoning his son or Hunter Biden. 51% disapprove, more than twice as much. Democratic approval, you think it's split by political party? Nope. Less than 40% of Democrats approve. Joe Biden, 40 more days for the rest of us to endure this presidential desert.
Cold this afternoon, the high at 33. Cloudy and breezy tonight, a snow shower in the area. We could see a couple of slick spots tonight.
It's the state level governments that work with each other.
And this is not just a small thing. The fundamental concept of American justice is a presumption of innocence. And until
left a very powerful message, and he highlighted how left a very left a very
And it's time to restore the meritocracy that has always been the U.S. military.
Truly a perfect match for you and for them.
To learn how to reach our audience with your business's message and support this station, contact Carolyn Cassidy at 614-318-0401 or click on the Advertise With Us banner at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com.
ProView Remodeling, Ohio's #1 choice in sunroofs, windows, doors, decks, siding. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 25% off or 60 months, 0 interest. That's right, 60 months, 0 interest.
It's frustrating. You're telling me we don't know.
At ProViewRemodeling.com.
When it comes to safety, don't settle for anything less than the best. At Elite Fire Services, we protect what matters most, your business and your peace of mind. Our expert team
Forgot to edit audio, so I'm scrambling. How did I forget to do that? It's the first thing I do every day.
Kitchen hood suppression systems and exit lighting. Visit elitefire.org today to get a free quote and ensure your fire safety is in elite hands. Because when it comes to protection, you deserve the best. Elite Fire
Coming to me next? Am I next? I think I might be next. Nope, one more.
what in you caused you?
There we go.
But then for Donald Trump, doing the popular way, history is made in so many different ways. To witness it, it's quite a time to be alive, and it really, truly is.
Subscribe to the Right View podcast with Laura Trump today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at StreamyardPodcastNetwork.com.
Now, I know these between commercial live reads can get a little tedious. You've heard all of them before. You think, wait, there's a new one today. How would you like to go to the presidential inauguration? You could, including airline tickets, hotel accommodations, tickets to the inauguration, tickets to an inaugural ball. Get that fancy dress ready, ladies, and that tuxedo, gents, and a $600 Visa gift card. It is the ultimate patriotic adventure, and we are thrilled to offer you this opportunity to win a once-in-a-lifetime VIP experience at the January 20th inauguration in Washington, D.C. You get round-trip airfare for 3 nights in the hotel, tickets to the inauguration, access to the inaugural ball and inaugural ball. There are many. Plus, we're giving away a pair of limited edition Trump Won sneakers valued at $499. Enter, guess where? That's right, at the place where we show how much we love you, 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com. You know, when they were handing me that yesterday in our promotions meeting, I thought, what are the chances they send the afternoon or morning and afternoon, you could say, host on 989 The Answer to the inauguration? What are the chances? What are the chances the big boys at corporate would say, hey, that'd be a good idea to send the local host to the inauguration? Zero chance. You get to go, though. So go to 989theanswer.com and enter today. Now, boiling it down to our Ohio General Assembly, which is completing its lame duck session before the end of the year, we may today get the passage by the Ohio Senate of House Bill 8. House Bill 8 is a phenomenal bill. It has been called the Parents' Bill of Rights by people who have a brain, by people who are sane. The other side calls it a don't say gay bill, which is not. Here's what House Bill 8 would do. And then there's a bonus part of House Bill 8 at the end that you will find delicious in light of what happened last night at the Worthington School Board meeting and what happened a few weeks ago at the Westerville School Board meeting. Here's what House Bill 8 would do. It would prohibit instruction in grades K through 3 that includes any description or depiction of sexual concepts or gender ideology. There would be an exception that would allow teachers to teach students about preventing venereal disease, sex abuse, and sexual violence. But the critics say that the bill does not define gender ideology. Yes, because that's a foreign concept to all of us. Like, none of us have any idea what you're talking about when you talk about gender ideology. No, we all know, because you've crammed it down our throats. And once we finally figured out that all we had to do was substitute the word fake when you say transgender, a transgender woman. And I know, a year ago, maybe more, maybe even less, you were going, transgender woman. Is that a real biological woman or is that a man? Well, now, see, due to your helpful morning and afternoon host here on The Answer, you just put in the word fake when you hear transgender and you say, it's a fake. A transgender woman is a fake woman, thus a man. Okay, so it would prevent that. House Bill 8 would also require school staff to inform parents if a student requests to identify as I'm going to say sex, but the bill says gender, but gender is a made-up concept that does not align with the student's biological sex. In other words, if your child is suffering from a mental disconnect between their sex and what they think they are, then the school staff is required to inform you. Oh, no more letting Johnny run off to school, run into a closet where the school provides Johnny clothes to make him come out as Joanne. That would not be allowed. Another reason why House Bill 8 is fantastic. Third, parents who submit written complaints must send them to the principal or assistant principal first. Parents can appeal any decision to the superintendent and then the school board. This is just chain of command stuff. That's the way every complaint should proceed. And parents will be able to review any sex education materials at their child's school upon request. One change I would like to see, and I don't know that it is not in this bill, but one change I would like to see, instead of allowing teachers, and honestly, folks, here's my thing. I'm trying to be, I'll explain this later in the show. I'm trying to be kinder and gentler but every bit as truthful as I've always been. Okay. But I know I can come off sometimes as angry, and I don't want to come off as angry. I want to come off as righteously indignant or passionate. But here's what I would like to see in House Bill 8. If it's not in there, or maybe it is in there, then I'll throw another hoorah to House Bill 8 when the Senate approves it. And the House has to reapprove it again. It's the way it works when one bill goes from a chamber to another chamber. I would like to see the fact that instead of starting from the point where a teacher who's been educated in a woke college comes out and thinks, maybe not even nefariously, it's very possible that these teachers are just teaching what they've been taught. We got to give them a little grace on this. This has been true, I know, in certain schools where a teacher will teach something and they go, well, that's what I was taught. So basically what the teacher's saying, my mind has been poisoned by the public education at the university level. And I don't know any different. I don't know any better. I don't even know what's wrong with this, because in my college, it was taught as like the best thing. It was tolerant. It was inclusive. It was diverse. It was equitable. So you got to give the teachers a little bit of a break. Not all of them, not giving a pass to the woke Olentangy high school superintendent or school principal. She should know better. But at any rate, what I would like to see is, instead of these teachers in teaching materials that they think are fine, or if they're nefarious, they know are not fine, but they're going to do it anyway because it dovetails with their political beliefs. Instead of starting from that point where the teacher gets to teach it and then the parent has to opt out, I would like to see the material sent home. I would like to see the systems in the schools that they use for fog delay in the morning. Snow. Oh, we were late. No school today. Snow. They have ways of getting a hold of you as a parent. They got ways. They should use those systems. Don't just put it on the website. How many parents are going to the website? Oh, it was on the website. Sure it was. I know it was. Nobody's going to the website. It's buried 4 links deep. The parents, instead of opting out of these programs, should have to opt in. Should have to opt in. Then the teachers be like, oh, I didn't hear back from 25 of my 30 parents. Well, I guess maybe you're going to have to reach out to them, aren't you? The school has ways of reaching them. I would love to see that. I would love to see that you have to opt in. You have to opt in. Now, I said there was a delicious thing buried in House Bill 8. Here it is. Last night at Worthington, they went back on their word, which is a very nice way. See, I'm trying to be kinder and gentler. A very nice way of saying they lied to you. They went back on their word. They said they weren't going to make any decision on release time religious instruction until the first of the year, because they well knew that the Ohio General Assembly was considering changing one word in the law on release time religious instruction, which allows schools to do LifeWise Academy and any other release time religious instruction people want, including praying during Ramadan, although they do that in the schools and you'd never be able to get biblical instruction in the schools. But the legislature may change the wording in the release time religious instruction from a school district may offer it to a school district shall offer it. So sorry, Westerville, you put your release time religious instruction policy in the shredder because of your godless approach to life over there with the Westerville Progressive Alliance. And sorry, Worthington, you were at least smart enough to hold off on taking your release time religious instruction policy away, tabling it. You voted to get rid of it, but you said it would remain in effect until December 31st.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The wildfire in Malibu, California has grown to more than 6 square miles. Firefighters are hoping windy weather can...
There's two elements there you described. It's classic, isn't it? That the victim was from working class origins, and this kid was just the front page of CNN currently has it, a scion of a wealthy Baltimore family. All of that Jacobin projection that we saw this week. Nonsense. This isn't the proletariat rising up. This is a would-be intellectual rising up. And the second question. The profile of the sort of people who commit these things. I think this person was probably fairly intelligent, but his intelligence was horribly. I think this person was probably. There are some things that are so stupid that only. That are so stupid. I haven't delved too deep into this guy's history. Some of the analysis of his Goodreads account, reviews of books, some of his tweets. I hate people like it. Of his Goodreads, some of the analysis of his Goodreads account, some of the analysis of. I hate people like him, and I would have had he not committed murder. Committed murder. There's a certain sort of person who think that they are so intelligent, and they're not as intelligent as they think they are, although they are quite intelligent. But they're so intelligent, they've worked out the answers. They've the values and I think this person was probably
Fashion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go with The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
I am heading out this afternoon to meet Joe and his wife, and we're going to help them out with some new flooring for a home that they are selling. I would love to do the same for you. I'd love the opportunity to meet you, love the opportunity to assist you with a new flooring project in your home. How do you do that? How do you reach out to me? Well, you can go to brucehooley.com and click flooring at the upper portion of the page. That will start the process where I will come to your home, as I will be headed out to Galloway today, and we'll get the space measured. Got to know how much flooring we need before we can give you a quote on it and tell you how soon we can install it. But I can make you this guarantee. We will not charge you as much, nor will it take as long to get it installed as it does at other big box retail stores. I can explain the reasons for that to you when we meet in person. So whether you need carpet, whether you need it done with something that looks like hardwood but is more durable, longer lasting, and far less expensive and less obtrusive to install, go to brucehooley.com and click flooring. brucehooley.com, click flooring. So it's easy and tempting to be surprised and troubled by the efforts that are out there online to portray the likely murderer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson as a hero, an anti-hero, right? We've done this in America for a long time. Bonnie and Clyde, John Dillinger, right? I mean, there's a certain fascination with villains. They put the Boston Marathon bomber, the one who wasn't killed, on the cover of Rolling Stone. And as pictures began to circulate online after the capture of Luigi Mangione, at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, the remarks started to come in about how attractive he was and how many people really, really wanted to, well, I don't even want to go in to the details. Here is a sampling of some of Luigi Mangioni's nut job supporters. To them, he is not a cold-blooded, heartless assassin. He is, well, just give a listen.
Left a very powerful message, and he highlighted how terrible the healthcare system is in America. I think he'll go down as a hero in history.
Hey, President Biden, you can pardon Luigi Mangione for your final acts in office.
Y'all saying murderer, I'm saying freedom fighter, because y'all always want to act like y'all don't see what's going on until somebody do something a little bit radical.
Just a little bit radical, plotting the assassination of someone who's married, has 2 kids, 2 boys. But the left was quick to come up with a narrative before Luigi Mangione was captured, is that he was no doubt going to be somebody whose little child had cancer and was denied life-saving treatment. Or he was going to be avenging a grandmother or a grandfather who had been kicked out of a nursing home. And instead, what we found out is Luigi Mangione's brush with the healthcare system is that he had a bad back surgery. Okay, that's terrible. But a bad back surgery does not entitle you to assassinate the head of a healthcare company. It entitles you to, if it was a really bad back surgery and it was botched, you can file a lawsuit. Doesn't get you out of pain, but it gets you financial compensation for the mistakes that were made. Or if your claim is denied, you can appeal your claim and perhaps get satisfaction that way. But you don't get to print your own ghost gun, stalk someone, shoot them, kill them in cold blood on the streets of New York City, and then get made into a hero. But Luigi Mangione's heroic status among the left is not new. It's not new at all. And the sad part of this is what he did is not going to be the last time this happens. I'm sure something like it has happened before, but remember how shocked we were by Columbine? Remember how shocked we were by 9/11? Those kinds of incidents, pipe bombs, school shootings, a lot more common now in America, aren't they? Why is that? It is because we are living the fulfillment of what the Bible says when it talks about in the last days. And I'm not predicting the rapture. I'm just saying that as we inevitably, every single day, we're closer to the end of the time clock that God has set for the expiration of our world. Good will be called evil, and evil will be called good. In 2022, when somebody tried to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh, the New York Times Supreme Court justice, right? Sitting Supreme Court justice, guy was in the vicinity of his home with the tools to kill Brett Kavanaugh, a sitting Supreme Court justice. That seems newsworthy to me. But, it's been a while since I worked at a newspaper. The New York Times put the story on page A20. A20. Why is that? Well, obviously they didn't think it was news, or they didn't really care if the guy accomplished his goal of assassinating Brett Kavanaugh. See, the line for the left is they want to tell you right and wrong. But the line isn't right and wrong, because they're always right and we're always wrong. The line we need to see as people of an authentic faith is a line between good and evil. And that line is, I was going to say it's blurred. but it essentially doesn't exist on the left anymore. Andy McCarthy writes today in the National Review about this phenomenon, and he cites another example that I overlooked. Remember when the George Floyd riots were raging? Remember we were in the midst of COVID? You had to sit, if you could even go out 6 feet away from someone and wear a mask. But the George Floyd protesters could be shoulder to shoulder, shouting without masks, some with masks. You saw TV reporters standing in front of buildings burning, and those protests were, well, they were mostly peaceful, right? They were mostly peaceful, except for the fire and the mayhem and the destruction of businesses and people like David Dorn in St. Louis being shot to death. They were really mostly peaceful. Andy McCarthy writes, the dirty little not so secret is that the left admires its terrorists and assassins. They don't see these sociopaths as violent, or better, they see virtue in the violence, a sign that their side has the courage to put it all on the line for the cause. That's exactly how they see it. That is exactly how they see it. That's why parents who went to school board meetings to protest books that were inappropriate for children in elementary schools, that's why the FBI was investigating them. That's why people who went to Latin Mass were considered to be religious extremists that the Department of Justice had to keep its eye on. That's why women, including those in their 70s, had to be put in jail for a violation of the FACE Act. But nobody on the other side of the aisle advocating for freedom of choice ever was prosecuted for violations of the FACE Act. McCarthy writes, the left doesn't want to prosecute its terrorists. It lionizes terrorists. This is no surprise. The Biden Justice Department has scorched the earth to find the most minor, nonviolent Trump supporters merely for being on the scene during the Capitol riot, drag them across the country to face criminal prosecution on misdemeanors that are virtually never charged. True. That's why Donald Trump, on his first day in office, should pardon every single January 6th protester, not because some of them might not be guilty, but because none of them got a fair trial. Not a single one of them got a fair trial. And Andy McCarthy concludes his piece on nationalreview.com with this 100% accurate statement. In their heart of hearts, leftists don't see violence as evil. They see conservatives as evil. Yeah, that's right. They do. Good will be called evil, and evil will be called good. That's where we are. It is being called good, not just by wackos. I mean, like before, there have always been crazy people. There have always been crazy people who go, well, whatever, however you want to count. Mussolini made the trains run on time at least. I mean, there have always been those kinds of people, right? But they were always fringe elements. If you're doing it on CNN, and if you say, it's bad that a healthcare CEO got assassinated on the streets of New York, but then you're the problem.
Clouds breezy and cold this afternoon, the high at 33. Cloudy and breezy tonight, a snow shower in the area. We can see a couple of slick spots tonight, low near 20. Intervals of clouds and sun, windy cold day tomorrow, the high at 29. Clouds then a bit milder on Friday, the high at 36. Clouds on Saturday, periods of rain and drizzle for the afternoon. The high on Saturday afternoon at 46. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
The Miller Cabinet Company of Plain City is a faith-based company, doing the right things for the right reasons for over 70 years. We hold in faith that Jesus is the reason for the season. To many, Jesus was just the son of a carpenter, but to us, he is so much more. So I invite you to join us this Christmas in declaring Jesus to be the true reason for the season. From all of us at the Miller Cabinet Company of Plain City, we want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from Ohio Christian University. Ready to make 2025 the year you achieve your educational dreams? Earn your degree entirely online in business, psychology, ministry, and more. With 24/7 access to course materials, experienced faculty, and flexible schedules, success is within your reach from home. Classes start January 14th. Call 844-726-7937 or visit ohiochristian.edu/apply today. Ohio Christian University, your future, your way.
The Christmas Mortgage Miracle is back. For 7 years, 98.9 FM The Answer and the Christmas Mortgage Miracle has made it possible to win next year's mortgage or rent. This year, the grand prize is $18,000. Increase your opportunity to win by entering up to once per day and complete optional bonus tasks for even more chances to win. Receive this blessing for 2025 with the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Sweepstakes. Enter to win today at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com.
Attention patriots and all who love freedom. Are you ready to embark on an unforgettable adventure? Journey with me, Larry Elder, along with Mike Gallagher, Jennifer Horn, and Joe Piscopo on the Patriot Alaska Cruise in August 2025. This experience is more than a vacation. It's a chance to participate in profound discussions and spirited debates with like-minded patriots. 7 action-packed days surrounded by the wonder and majesty of Alaska's rustic landscapes. Gain profound insights as you're immersed in the splendor of glaciers and fjords. And right now is a great time to buy a cruise as a holiday gift. You must book through us to have access to all our events. So don't wait. Visit travelwithsalem.com. Visit
travelwithsalem.com. Forgetting to cut audio today. That was a dumb decision on my part. Brain malfunction.
Spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or book online at travelwithsalem.com. That's travelwithsalem.com.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans,
big changes in the lineup.
Years. Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. To celebrate this Christmas season, you can start for as little as $99 regardless of how much debt you owe. Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Call Total Financial Freedom now. 800-533-6605. End the endless cycle of payments now. Take a stand. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially cut your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now for a free consultation at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
989theanswer.com, your home for all things conservative talk. And you say, well, I can't listen 24/7. You don't have to. All you have to do is use your device to go to 989theanswer.com, or better yet, download the Answer app, and that will give you access to every single word spoken on this station by every single host. Whether it is Hugh Hewitt in the morning, whether it's Mike Gallagher after that, myself, Seb Gorka, limited time on Seb. He's only going to be around until like early January. Then he's headed off to the Trump administration. Charlie Kirk, Larry Elder, and also the other shows like the Josh Pick Aptus Retirement Blueprint Radio Show. You can also enter contests at 989theanswer.com. The fantastic Christmas Mortgage Miracle contest going on right now. It's our 7th year. We're going to pay a grand prize winner $18,000 to go toward their mortgage or their rent in 2025. See, you're really missing out when you don't build in a daily trip to 989theanswer.com. Now, I remarked yesterday about how odd, wink, wink, it was that we had full-face pictures of Luigi Mangione, who went to school at a $38,000 private school in Maryland. His parents own country clubs. Grandpa apparently was quite the businessman. Healthcare facilities. They own a resort. Luigi was allowed to cavort around the globe. He had a degree from Penn, an Ivy League school. He was the valedictorian of his class at the $38,000 preppy private school that he attended. He went to Stanford. He worked there for a while. He lived in Hawaii for 6 months surfing. He had a super tough life. I have a couple questions here. Why, number one, as I said yesterday, why did none of his friends identify him? Think they didn't know who did it? No, they didn't want to identify him. The other thing that I find curious is like, how do we know so much about Luigi Mangione right off the top? Ask yourself this question. Do you know more about Luigi Mangione right now? Or do you know more about the guy who tried to kill Donald Trump at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally? Ever find anything out about that guy? Who curiously was allowed to like basically get as close to Donald Trump as is humanly possible at a presidential event and fire off 6 or 8 shots from an AR-15 from like 100 yards away, which owning one, I can tell you, is like a pretty easy shot. Interesting. Wait. We have Luigi's manifesto. We know what Luigi's manifesto is about, right? It's about the evil healthcare industry. What's in the manifesto of the Nashville school shooter? What's in that manifesto? Oh, you say, well, it's available online, Bruce. Yeah, would it come out like what, a year after? And it had to be leaked and secretively obtained by the Daily Wire, by Dave Rubin, by others. I just find that curious, you know. Here's something you might find curious. You know, this was being painted from the very beginning as well, you know. There are even posters right now on street lamps in New York City. Posters of the moment where Luigi Mangione fired into the back of Brian Thompson and killed him, with one word under the picture of that moment which ended Brian Thompson's life. You know what that word is? Not despicable, not horrible, not awful. You know what the word is? Hope. Hope. Posters on the street lamps in New York City with the scene of Brian Thompson being shot and killed with the word hope. Because, you know, the narrative is that Luigi Mangione's a crusader, right? Everybody's had a bad experience with the healthcare system. They're mean and awful and terrible and evil. And Brian Thompson made $10 million. So you probably have a picture of Brian Thompson as a guy who had much the same upbringing as Luigi Mangione. I've been trying to figure out who Brian Thompson is or was. I Googled him today. I DuckDuckGo'd him today. I looked and looked and looked. I went down page after page after page after page. Why did I have to make that much of an effort? I'll tell you why. Because Brian Thompson grew up in rural Iowa. What did Brian Thompson's dad do? Was he the CEO of a big company, handed off to Brian Thompson? Brian Thompson's dad worked at a grain elevator. Brian Thompson was also a valedictorian, but not of a Tony private school that cost $38,000 a year. He was the valedictorian at South Hamilton Public High School in Jewel Junction, Iowa, which is just north of Ames. You can't be more middle America. You can't be more pull yourself up from your bootstraps than Brian Thompson. Say, oh, I'm just CEO of a healthcare company. Yeah. And what did he prioritize as the CEO of a healthcare company? Brian Thompson's friends say that he and his wife were always at every single event their boys competed in. That Brian Thompson was a crusader and a big leader for Special Olympics. How many people do you know like this guy? Okay, you might not know anybody who makes $10 million a year, but you know people who own $1 million home. You know people who care about their kids. You know people like Brian Thompson. How many people you know like Luigi Mangione, whose family owns country clubs and assisted living facilities and Christmas winter resorts? Yet Luigi Mangione's the victim here. He's the victim. He's a victim. It's Charles C.W. Cook on how this entire scenario does not fit the narrative that the left wanted to paint.
It's classic, isn't it? Classic. That the victim was from working class origins, and this kid was, as the front page of CNN currently has it, a scion of a wealthy Baltimore family. All of that Jacobin projection that we saw this week, nonsense. This isn't the proletariat rising up. This is a would-be intellectual rising up.
Yeah, except as Charles C.W. Cook goes on to say, sometimes intellectuals are not as smart as they think they are.
I think this person was probably fairly intelligent, but his intelligence was horribly misapplied. This is a good example of, I believe it, Orwell said it, perhaps it was Thomas Sowell, there are some things that are so stupid that only an intellectual could believe them. I haven't delved too deep into this guy's history, but I hate people like him. And I would have had he not committed murder. There's a certain sort of person who thinks that they are so intelligent, and they're not as intelligent as they think they are, although they are quite intelligent. But they're so intelligent that they have worked it out. They have worked out the answers. They have seen through society. They have seen through the values and ideas that they were supposed to absorb, and that they sit above everyone else. And they've convinced themselves as a result of that they get to opt out of the rules. That it's true in most cases that you don't kill people. It's true in most cases that you don't circumvent the neutral regulations by which we live for exactly this reason, but that they can't apply to them because they know the answer. They have discovered how important it is, and it's more important than elementary liberalism. These people are among us. Many of them teach in universities. Most of them, though, do not kill people. Why do you think it is that after this news broke, the average person said that's awful? But the people who said but were in the media and think tanks and in universities.
Why do you think that is? Because you've seen it, right? You see it this summer in the Hamas protests. Queers for Palestine. Queers for Palestine. Is so certain that they are right in chanting from the river to the sea, long live the Intifada. There's only one solution. I'm a queer for Palestine. As I said at the time, you're lucky you're not a queer in Palestine, because you'd be hanging from a crane or pushed off a building. But they've got it figured out, like Charlie Cook says, and the rules don't apply to them. They apply to you. No. If you try to take away or even say vaccines and boosters don't work. No, those words, you can't speak them. We got to silence you. No freedom of the press, no freedom of speech for you. But for us, well, you got to listen to us because we know what's best.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission,
completely abduct and insult.
What in you caused you?
The Biden administration is, in my view, the most anti-free speech administration since the Adams administration. It has helped fund the most anti-free speech administration since the Adams administration. It has helped fund the Biden administration. It has helped fund this massive censorship system that a federal court called perfectly Orwellian.
He was just threatening to kill people. He was threatening to go to jail forever. He was threatening to go go to jail forever. I'm on my back in a very vulnerable position.
When he said he was willing to kill people, did you believe him?
Yeah, totally. It was unlike, there's always
I don't know. I don't know that seeing them celebrating in a bar made me comfortable. You know, I mean, you killed a guy. The man is dead, and maybe you take the celebration home. You don't do it outside. But that's just me. Don't listen to anything I say.
And that's the smartest thing you've ever said.
The thing, how do we and subscribe danger and who is dangerous? How do we describe and subscribe danger and who is dangerous, right? This man got onto the train and he said, which one? Penny, the victim. I'm sorry, Neely, a former Michael Jackson impersonator. He talked about being hungry and thirsty, and he said he didn't care if he lived or died. There is no evidence that he attacked anyone. There's no evidence that he put his hands on anyone on this occasion. No one on the train would have known that he had touched someone before. Multiple people testified that he didn't approach anyone in a threatening manner. And so when you look at that and you look at the result of what happened, my question is, where is our compassion as a society? Where is our compassion? And one other thing is that what Whoopi said, I think, is really important. This is a child at 14 who saw
Colorado, Los Angeles, Calgary, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Florida. This is SRN Sports. Men's top 25 college basketball, Illinois guard Trey White rose to the occasion last night against Wisconsin.
Trey White finished with 23 points and 8 rebounds as unranked Illinois upset 20th ranked Wisconsin 86-80 to improve to 7-2. White shot 6 of 8 from the field and 9 of 10 from the free throw line, while adding an assist and a block.
That's correspondent Alan Spillane reporting. One other prediction was 14th ranked Michigan. Winners included number 1 Tennessee, 4th ranked Duke, and number 15 Houston. Major League Baseball, a person with knowledge of the deal tells the AP the Texas Rangers and right-hander Nathan Eovaldi have agreed on a $75 million 3-year contract. Bringing back Eovaldi was one of the primary goals for the Rangers this offseason. He became a free agent after declining a $20 million player option for the 2025 season. This is SRN Sports.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded. Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
ProView Remodeling.
My internet.
Windows,
There it is.
doors,
It's back.
decks,
Sorry.
siding, patios, porches,
Thought I got
fences,
cut off.
and bathroom remodels. Call ProView
We're going to do
Remodeling
another
today
couple
and
segments
get
here for you.
25% off or 60 months, 0 interest. That's right. 60
Because a
months,
day
0
wouldn't be
interest.
complete
Call or
without
text 7 days a week.
without a perspective from Whoopi Goldberg and the mental geniuses at The View. Wouldn't be complete. I mean, I'd be cheating you. if I didn't treat you to that. So that's coming up. Hour number 2, Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. Thanks for watching the show on the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or the 989 The Answer Facebook page. And thanks for taking us with you wherever you go, whether it's via the iHeart, TuneIn, or radio.com app, or whether you do the best thing, which is download the Answer app. That way you can take us with you wherever you go. You can enter contests and access the Discount Shopping Club and other features available to you at 989theanswer.com. Been talking in hour number 1 about actions in the General Assembly. First of all, Joe Biden, we're 40 more days in the desert before we get a real president. Hopefully the Middle East won't blow sky high. Hopefully Vladimir Putin won't drop a nuclear weapon on Ukraine. Hopefully oil prices won't go through the roof, because if so, Joe Biden will probably be in Delaware, resting comfortably somewhere, stowing classified documents in a ripped cardboard box. But we got 40 more days in the desert till Biden is out, and till Kamala Harris is already out. You've seen her, not that you want to, but she is the vice president. Kind of an important job. Although I was thinking today, J.D. Vance, what a great gig J.D. Vance has. Kamala Harris has been seen twice since November the 5th. I believe that's 35 days. If you only have to appear in public twice in 35 days as vice president, J.D. Vance has got a great gig. My guess is J.D. Vance will do a whole lot more with it, which there's not enough zeros to calculate what more he will do with it than Kamala Harris. Look forward to the day J.D. Vance gets into the vice presidential position. And maybe by then, Mike DeWine will have made up his mind on who's going to succeed J.D. Vance as a senator from Ohio. Not that that's a big decision or anything for Mike, which he's almost as invisible as Kamala Harris. And barely more competent. Okay, so we did that in hour number 1. We also talked about the General Assembly and how last night in Worthington, they rescinded release time religious instruction, although they thought, we ought to keep that policy around in a file cabinet somewhere, because those nasty guys at the General Assembly down in Columbus just might force us to have a release time religious instruction policy. And hopefully that's happening today at the State House, where the senators will vote on House Bill 8, which would just change a word, which now the law reads, schools may offer release time religious instruction, which LifeWise Academy is really the only program that falls under that, guys. I know there's a satanic academy starting in Marysville. It'll fail. It'll fail. They're trying to troll. Don't get upset. Let them do it. It's fine. I'm fine with it. Because if you can marshal the volunteers, of course, with the outpouring of love for Luigi Mangione, the likely New York assassin of healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, I'm not surprised that there would be parents who would say, yes, sign my kid up for that. I want my kid to be more satanic than they already are. They're not getting programmed enough by their phone, by television shows, that I don't pay any attention to what the content is. Maybe there are parents out there who will sign. Maybe there are parents who will volunteer. But I still have more faith in humanity than that. So hopefully the legislators in the state of Ohio get that done today, and they convert the language from may offer release time religious instruction to shall offer release time religious instruction. And if so, all of you LifeWise supporters over there in Westerville can go to the next Westerville school board meeting and enjoy a good chuckle over them rescinding and destroying that policy, even though they still allow Muslim students to pray in the hallways at Westerville schools during Ramadan, which I'm not against that. I'm not against that either. I'm pointing out the dichotomy, the difference, the favoritism, where students who practice Islam are advantaged over students of other faiths. I don't care. Hindu, you want to release time religious instruction for Hindu? Go for it. I just want to make sure that it's offered because it's constitutional and because I love watching people who are evil be frustrated by the divine hand of God. So I was thinking about this morning as I sat down, because I had a friend of me yesterday say, yeah, I listened to your show today and you seem really, really angry. Really, really angry. And I'm like, well, I'm not really, really angry. I'm hopefully like righteously indignant over a lot of the things that happen in our society and over a lot of the attitudes that have become all too commonplace in our society. So I thought about it a lot because, as I've told you guys before, I don't want to do anything with this platform that disgraces my faith, that disgraces my Savior. I don't want to portray it like I'm damaging something of mine. It's only mine because Jesus made it available to me at the cross, the forgiveness, the redemption, the restoration. And I want that for everyone. Every Christian should want that for everyone. Every Christian should want at Christmas time the birth of the Savior of the world to be real in the lives of everyone. So when I get upset about, pick a topic, crime in Columbus, the proliferation and advancement of immorality in our culture, most often enacted or pushed by the ever-increasing crowd under the LGBTQIA plus umbrella. Whatever it is, when I get upset about it, I don't always do a very good job of articulating why I'm upset about it. But the reason I'm upset about it is because as an authentic Bible-believing Christian, I believe every word is in the Bible is divinely inspired and is truth. There's a verse in the Bible. I read it this morning. I can't disconnect my phone to bring it over here and give you the citation because then I'll lose my internet because our internet's not working and I'm pulling internet off my phone today. But in the Bible, I believe it's in Romans 2. It says, your law is truth. God's law is truth. Okay, what is God's law? God's law is the 10 Commandments. God's law is, yeah, it's Old Testament, Bruce. Jesus brought a new covenant. Yeah, but he said, I came to fulfill every word in the scriptures. So the 10 Commandments are not invalid. And we all know what the 10 Commandments are, even the most, I can't imagine there's no one who doesn't know that. For instance, thou shalt not murder. Oh, wait. Luigi Mangione. You mean he's not a hero? You mean he violated a commandment? God says in Romans 2, after he goes through a long litany of things in Romans 1, verse 18 to the end, where he says the wrath of God will be revealed from heaven against all people who do what? Suppress the truth. Well, if you're suppressing the truth, let's put the pieces together. If you're suppressing the truth in Romans 1:18, and in Romans 2, it says God's law is truth, then if you're suppressing the truth, you're suppressing God's law, which a demonstration of that would be elevating Luigi Mangione to cult hero status because he murdered someone. It would be violating God's law to commit adultery, to covet something that your neighbor has. You can admire it. You can't try to disadvantage your neighbor so it becomes yours. You can't have other gods before the one and only God of the universe, whether that God is wealth, whether it's food, whether it's your sexuality or whatever. Like, those are all things that go against God's law, and God's law is truth. Okay, so those are the things that upset me. Not because I'm personally offended or it's costing me anything, because it's costing you not knowing the joy, the forgiveness, the redemption, the peace that people who have accepted Christ as their Savior have in their life. That's why it upsets me. I don't do a really good job, or even a passable job, of explaining why it upsets me. I get so focused on the disrespect shown toward God by people who turn their backs on what they could have via a relationship with him. I get so upset at that. I've said before, I have no patience for ignorance. Okay? And how have I defined ignorant? It's not a slur. It's not a slur. Ignorance is the availability of knowledge and the refusal to avail yourself of that knowledge or allow it to impact you and change your behavior or your perspective. That's ignorance. That's ignorance. Like prosecutors who say, oh, you know, we're not going to prosecute crime because that would be bad. No, consequences for actions is biblical. God disciplines those he loves in order to do what? Bring him back to him. So when I see practices in our society enacted by Democratic mayors and city councils like we have here in Columbus, when I see them that are not sound, they're not truth, they're not in accord with God's law, it upsets me. Not because it costs me, I might get shot, I might get robbed, it might hurt one of my family, but ultimately what it does, it denies the person who did that and the people who advance that wrong mindset. It prioritizes that over the love of God. That's where my passion and righteous indignation comes from.
This afternoon, the high at 33, cloudy and breezy, snow shower in the area. We could see a couple of slick spots tonight, low near 20. Intervals of clouds and sun, windy, cold day tomorrow, the high at 29. Clouds and a bit milder on Friday.
I forgot to do my pillow. Yeah, sorry.
So
my pillow and breezy connects.
Yes, this one is QC Connecticut.
I'm Steve
One's probably the last one.
Okay.
There's a Charlie Kirk my pillow in the next break.
Okay, very good. So QC Kinetics and then my pillow. Gotcha. Thanks. Sorry, Jeff.
The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. We're not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. As such, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Actress Blueprint radio show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
This is Carol Platt, lead out for townhall.com. Last week in United States v. Spermetti, the Supreme Court heard a case with major implications for the protection of minors who are suffering from gender dysphoria. The lawsuit challenged Tennessee's law banning medical gender transitions for children. The Biden administration argued Tennessee's law violates the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause because it discriminates on the basis of sex and immutable characteristics. Any law doing so must meet a higher standard to be upheld. But Justice Alito exposed the fallacy of the administration's argument. He asked one of the attorneys if transgenderism is immutable. With that, the architecture of the administration's case crumbled. Its advocates were left to claim that somehow sex is immutable, even as gender is just a matter of personal belief at any given moment. The Supreme Court looks likely to uphold Tennessee's right to protect their children. It was a good day for the High Court.
It's really simple. You log on to 989theanswer.com, search for the item you need, buy the certificate, and boom, you just saved at least half the price when you shop the Answers Discount Shopping Club. From mattresses and HVAC systems to half-price school tuitions, the Discount Shopping Club is an easy way for you to save half off or more on the things you could really use. Items come and go and are usually in limited supply, so saving hundreds, even thousands of dollars today in the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com.
There's something very dangerous in your home. It could be hiding in a closet or waiting in the basement. It's not sharp or toxic or flammable, yet it helps send more people to the trauma center than any other household item.
Hey, do me a favor and hold the ladder for me.
I have a better idea. Let's just call somebody to clean the gutters.
Scoop out a few leaves. I'll be down in a heartbeat. Whoa!
Using a ladder might seem easy. Misusing one is even easier. Ask any of the 150,000 people who fell off their ladders into the trauma center last year alone. Don't let a do-it-yourself project do yourself in. For tips on ladder safety, visit orthoinfo.org. A public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons You want to keep your bones safe, strong, and well connected.
Consider taking advantage of the free consultation at QC Kinetics. No matter how old you are, but if you have pain, and you can be a young athlete, you can be a weekend warrior, you can be someone who is getting up there in years, it doesn't matter, the body works the same way. Very often, your blood provides healing for things that are not major super issues. You break an arm, your blood's not going to heal you, but your blood has healing agents in it. Cut your finger, you sprain your ankle, you stub your toe, eventually it heals, right? Sometimes quicker than others. Now, the same process, the same procedures, the same concepts are behind advanced regenerative therapies. That's what they use at QC Kinetics. They offer you a free consultation, Dublin and Gehenna. It works by taking your blood out, separating the healing agents, and re-injecting those agents into the areas where you have pain. If you have more healing agents there, doesn't it stand to reason you could get relief? See if it can work for you. 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544. Time for Today in Crazy. A look around the headlines at things that are crazy. Does it seem crazy to anybody else? First of all, it seemed crazy to us when the Chinese flew a spy balloon across the country and surveilled all our military bases, right? A balloon. Balloons are not known for supersonic speed, I don't think. And we let them fly over our military bases. Let them fly across the country. And got out over the water. Okay, maybe we should take a BB gun and bring that bad boy down. We did. Now we have mystery drones spotted in the Northeast. I'm looking at a map here. Picatinny Arsenal Military Base in Morris, New York. Oh, this is probably nothing. Trump National Golf Club, Bedminster, New Jersey. These drones are flying over Trenton, New Jersey, over Philadelphia. They've been spotted in 3 different counties in New Jersey and over New York City and various towns like Sussex and Passaic and Bergen. Okay, so there was a hearing yesterday in the House, and one of the people in government were questioning an expert, somebody who's charged with keeping us safe from foreign enemies. I'll see if this makes you feel any better. Here's the question and the answer.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct? That's right. It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
That is incomprehensible to me, that we don't know what these things are, where they came from. They fly like 70 miles an hour. Okay, so that's Today in Crazy headline number 1. Today in Crazy headline number 2, Bengal fans, while you were rejoicing over Joe Burrow's last couple of minutes touchdown pass to Jamar Chase that gave you a victory over the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night, thieves were breaking in to Joe Burrow's house in Anderson Township, Ohio, which is, of course, near Cincinnati. They broke in sometime after 8 p.m. Gee, what time did that game kick off? Oh, that's right, 8 p.m. Joe was otherwise engaged, dodging Micah Parsons in the Dallas Cowboy defense. There was a woman at Joe Burrow's house who placed a call to 911. She gave the address and said, "This is Joe Burrow's house. He's at the football game," as if Joe's down the street watching like some high school team play or practice. And she says, "What should I do? Should I be hiding or should I be going outside?" Eventually, the Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies got there, but the whole entire bedroom had been ransacked. Now, this is not a new occurrence. Homes of other NFL and NBA players have been broken into while they have been away at away games. Like, I'm a little honestly surprised this hasn't happened before, right? Like, these guys' movements are not hard to predict. As soon as the schedule comes out, you can go, "I'm pretty sure he won't be home that night." Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. He's probably fine because he's bundled his home and auto, so he's good. Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, so Joe Burrow getting it done on the field while thieves are getting it done at his house. Closer to home, down at Broad and High at the State House, there is an effort afoot, which I certainly hope fails, to raise Ohio State's minimum wage. Yes, they need 100,000 more signatures to get on the November ballot, November 2025, a initiative to raise the state's minimum wage to $15. What is the minimum wage right now? It's $10.45 an hour. And if you're a tipped worker, meaning a waitress or a valet, $5.25 an hour. Full-time at $10.45 an hour wage works out to be a little shy of $22,000 per year. Now, it's not that I'm against people making good money, but I just think the best indicator of what is going to happen is what has happened. And I know, since we're in the middle of Today and Crazy, I have talked before about what a debilitating impact raising the minimum wage in California has had on the fast food industry in California. And if you raise the minimum wage in the state of Ohio, you are going to eventually get fewer jobs, more automation, and those poor robots, they don't get minimum wage. All right. So I already don't like it. Let me just say, how many of you like going into McDonald's and ordering off the kiosk? This is probably age related. A lot of you probably like that. I hate it. I want to go up to the counter and a real person and have a verbal exchange. So I'd like my hamburger with extra pickles and no ketchup. On the kiosk, I'm sorry. I'm unable to like pull that off. Okay. So I want a real person to talk to. Why do we not have real people to talk to in the kiosks? Because we either don't have people available to man the counter, or because there's a push for minimum wage and the people who own McDonald's go, no, thanks. I'll just spend a little money up front right now and I'll go to an all automated setup. Is that good for our workforce? No, it is not good for our workforce. Okay. You're not supposed to work at McDonald's forever. McDonald's jobs are for people who want to work part-time, or high school kids who have a limited number of hours a week because they're engaged in academic activities and athletic activities or extracurricular activities like music, band, and other things. That's what those jobs are for. They're very valuable jobs, not because you're hungry and you need fries and you need a Big Mac, but because they ingrain values like showing up on time, doing your job, doing it well, maybe ascending to manager or assistant manager. I'm not saying those jobs aren't valuable. I'm saying those jobs are very valuable, but there's a little thing in our society that's also a good value, and that is called delayed gratification. Delayed gratification. It's really good for you if you subscribe to the concept of delayed gratification. What is college if it's not delayed gratification? You're going, you're studying, you're getting a degree, you're putting in 4 years, and then you get out and you have a credential that will translate into higher income. Or a trade school, same kind of a thing. Delayed gratification, right? This is why I hate NIL so much in college athletics, because a kid comes in, delayed gratification. You redshirt your first year, you practice hard, you prove yourself to be an effective tackling dummy for the varsity, or maybe you're an exceptional player like Jeremiah Smith and you play 3 years in college and then you sign a multi-million-dollar contract. But if they give you the multi-millions up front, what is your incentive? Sure, maybe you have it in you to try to become a great player or whatever, and you know there's more money out there if you do, but it's not good for college kids to get paid like they're pros. And it'd be horrible for high school kids to get paid the same way.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Fueled by pricier used cars and groceries, inflation in the U.S. was slightly higher last month, and the latest sign that some price pressures remain elevated. Consumer prices rose 2.7% in November from a year earlier, from a yearly figure of 2.6% in October. Excluding volatile food and energy costs, so-called core prices.
Should be able to do my pillow here. I think the Charlie Kirk spot's a Medicare.
I'll listen for it. If it's my pillow, I'll do something else.
Yeah. See that Guardians trade last night?
What is that? I mean, I know they're getting like young players that they believe in, and they got the kid that took number 1 who they think's ready or will be ready in a year or two. But I mean, Jimenez doesn't hit, so. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best defensive second baseman in baseball.
Yeah,
But
without a doubt.
yeah, but he's a 230 hitter who doesn't hit for power.
Right.
Well, you save $90 million. You get your, solid starter for the rotation, and you get two left-handed pitchers who could be starters.
So I don't know about the pitchers. Who's the solid starter?
Ortiz.
Okay.
He had a 3.32 ERA with the Pirates last year.
Okay.
So he's probably going to be the number 4 starter behind Bieber, Bybee, and Williams.
Okay. Are they giving up on McKenzie, or is he coming back?
I have no clue. I don't know.
Well, he didn't get surgery, and his velocity was nowhere. So.
Well, his control was horrible.
Right.
Like, oh, I have a tear in my elbow. I can't throw strikes.
Yeah.
Oh,
get it fixed.
Yeah. I don't know why he would. I don't know what the holdup is.
Guys are just scared to go under surgery.
But and then they saved $90 million on the Jimenez contract, which hopefully turns into somebody.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I mean, there's a thought they're going to trade Naylor.
Yeah, Naylor will probably get traded as well.
Yeah. The Reds are jammed up at first base. I don't know why the Reds would want him. Although he'd hit well in that park.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Well, he was a 30 homer, 100 RBI guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
His average was bad, his defense was bad, and he can't really stay healthy.
Yeah. True.
They could find that Japanese kid, that Sasaki.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know much about him.
I mean, he'll probably end up with the Dodgers.
Yeah, probably.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, that makes sense.
So right now would be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously, but what's more, MediShare members like it. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too. For over 30 years, it's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before December 15th, and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. You save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and get a price within 2 minutes. Again, the deadline is December 15th, so call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number: 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
He's one of the top 10 radio hosts in the country. He never tarnishes his opinions. And now more than ever, you need to spend part of your day with a healthy dose of the Mike Gallagher Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
MyPillow.com, fantastic products at great prices. Boy, oh boy, you can load up on Christmas gifts at MyPillow.com. Standard MyPillow, $14.88. They have other pillow options, smaller, more versatile, that are under $10, and a queen and a king. You're not going to break the bank at those either. They are less than $20. It's getting cold. A little snow on the ground this morning. That's not fun. You don't want to be cold at night, so why don't you look at the sale price on MyPillow Giza Dream flannel sheets. Yes, I said flannel sheets. Flannel sheets are fantastic. I love sleeping on my Giza Dream flannel sheets. Warm, cozy, and affordable. $59.99 is where they start. A set of my slippers, now half price. You got to browse the entire website at mypillow.com. Started with just pillows, but now they have many, many products. Mattresses, mattress toppers, bathrobes, towel sets, and all the other specials that I just outlined for you. Just make sure you use my promo code Bruce to get the lowest pricing ever at mypillow.com. So I have a couple good buddies who listen to the show and who text me things that I share with you from time to time, and I'm really glad that I have their input because they bring things to my attention that would otherwise escape me. I will share one of those things with you shortly, but before I do, we've spent some time today contrasting the view on the left that good is evil and evil is good. And I mean, Daniel Penny, he's a good guy. He's a Marine, and you're not a former Marine, okay? like once you're a Marine, You may not be in uniform. You may not be on active duty. You are always a Marine. The values you have within you remain within you. And thank goodness for that. Because if not, we would have had a great degree of possibility that a lot of bad things would happen on that New York subway train where Daniel Penny intervened. That's what my friend shared with me last night, something Daniel Penny said to Jeanine Pirro. But first, I want to show you another piece of the other side of the coin that I've already talked about today, which is people who portray evil as good. Luigi Mangione, the likely assassin of Brian Thompson, is an evil person. Not evil because, as the wokesters out there would have you believe, he was oppressed, he was denied, he was unhoused. No, he had it all. This kid had it all. He had a bad back surgery, okay? I feel for you. I've had back pain, I understand. I had a shoulder surgery go bad one time, and then I had a great shoulder surgery that fixed it. Maybe he wouldn't get fortunate. Maybe he can't fix his back now. But it's a moot point, right? When we talk about, oh, Luigi, you had bad back surgery. Okay, you can't kill somebody who runs the healthcare company and didn't operate on you. Sorry, can't do that. Nope, sorry. Luigi Mangione, $38,000 private school in high school, went to Penn, an Ivy League school, and one of the professors at Penn, her name is Julia Alexeyeva. She has blue hair. She's not old. She's just a leftist. She posted a TikTok with pictures of Luigi Mangione, and she wrote on her TikTok as she dances to the music, "I have never been prouder to be a professor at the University of Pennsylvania." So she's got a guy who went to Penn who assassinated a healthcare executive on the streets of Manhattan, and that makes her more proud than she's ever been to be at Penn. Until the phone rang and somebody from HR said, "Hey, Professor Alexeyeva, we'd like to talk to you about your TikTok." Update from Penn's campus. Julia Alexeyeva posted this morning. Late last night, I posted a TikTok as well as several stories on my Instagram. These were completely insensitive and inappropriate, and I retract them wholly. I do not condone violence, and I am genuinely regretful of any harm the posts have caused. Now, I don't have a TikTok account, okay? I don't have a TikTok account. I have a Twitter account. I have a Facebook account. And a friend of mine one time was intending to message me something privately on Twitter, and he inadvertently posted it publicly on Twitter. And he got in a lot of trouble for it. And back then, Twitter was limited to 140 characters. And he described to me, he said, "You know what Twitter is, Bruce?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Twitter is 140 characters of rope." And he's right. Now it's 280 characters, or if you pay for it, it's unlimited characters of rope. It gives you the ability to hang yourself. Now, you can fire off a tweet and post it. The old adage, which should be adhered to quite often, including by me, don't hit send. Okay. But her TikTok, I'm looking at it. She had to put music behind it. She had to put pictures of Luigi Mangione on the side of it. She had to post like video, and you say, well, she hit the AI button and that did that for her. Nevertheless, this wasn't her just typing it in, bammo. She went to great intricate lengths to concoct this TikTok, and now she wants it to go away with some benign post on Twitter. Oh, very insensitive, and I don't. No. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry you got caught. And I don't feel a bit bad saying that I hope you lose your job and I hope you never work in education again, public or private, because you are the problem. You are the problem. You are indicative of a mindset that we have to eradicate from our culture. And thank goodness there are people like Daniel Penny, outnumbered though they may be, who never cease being U.S. Marines. Here he is talking to Jeanine Pirro. This is the clip a friend sent to me last night. I wanted to share it with you today. And just before I do, pose a question. How much better would our culture be? Would our country be? Would our world be if we had far more Daniel Pennies than we have Julia Alexeyevas?
What caused you to want to get involved?
The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself.
He could have walked away. He was fine. Jordan Neely wasn't going to mess with Daniel Penny. He was going to target, like he did before, hitting an old woman and breaking 2 bones in her face. He could have walked away. Daniel Penny could have walked away, except Daniel Penny couldn't walk away. You know why? Because the U.S. Marines built into him a sense of honor and valor and courage and defending those who could not defend themselves. And though he was not on active duty, he was, in a sense, always on active duty. And he said, I could not live with myself if I didn't intervene. I played the cut for you yesterday where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was all upset because Daniel Penny said he didn't regret doing what he did. He didn't regret risking his personal freedom. He doesn't regret it even though he's being targeted by BLM of New York. He doesn't regret it even though his life, his very life, is in danger because of what he did. He's got people openly stating death threats against him. But he was found innocent by the jury. And that's a very great thing. Unless you're Whoopi Goldberg of The View, we're just not quite comfortable with Daniel Penny's reaction to being spared time in jail for being a hero to those around him on the subway.
I don't know that seeing them celebrating in a bar made me comfortable. You know, I mean, you killed a guy. The man is dead, and maybe you take the celebration home. You don't do it outside. But that's just me. Don't listen to anything I say.
It is very rare for someone to say something that is both colossally stupid and the smartest thing they've ever said in the same soundbite. But she just managed to do it. Right? Daniel Penny is not allowed to celebrate the persecution of Alvin Bragg being denied him by a jury. And by the same token, don't pay any attention to anything I say. Yes, correct. Nor should you pay any attention to anything the moronic Sonny Hostin says.
How do we describe and subscribe danger and who is dangerous, right? This man got onto the train and he said, which one? Penny, the victim. I'm sorry, Neely.
He's not a victim. He is not a victim.
A former Michael Jackson impersonator. He talked about being hungry and thirsty, and he said he didn't care if he lived or died. A former Michael Jackson impersonator.
Okay.
He talked about being hungry and thirsty, and he said he didn't care if he lived or died.
I wanted to play that for you a second time because Jordan Neely was shouting, I don't care if I die today. I'm going to go to jail. Somebody's going to die today. I don't care if it's me. Sonny Hostin goes on.
Evidence that he attacked anyone. There's no evidence that he put his hands on anyone on this occasion. No one on the train would have known that he had touched someone before.
Oh, because we didn't know he slugged a grandma before. Because we didn't know that, we should just presume that he's just harmless.